Hey y'all. I just want to come on here real quick to say, like, I just left a women's ministry meeting at a church, and I got back home and I was just sitting here because I got stuff to do. It's Saturday, so hey, things never stop. You always got to be on the go. But I just wanted to say, like, a lot of people miss out on their blessings and the beauty of life because they're so busy judging others and looking at others for who they think they are and not who God is, who God says they are. You're focused on things that they've done. You focus on their past. We miss out on our blessings, and I say we because everybody does this. It's You have to learn to stop passing judgment on people. People change, people grow. And also, don't just because it's not, God may have showed you something that you don't feel that you want that for you, or you don't feel that's what you want to happen in your life, or you don't want, say he's shown you who your spouse is and you don't want that person to be your spouse. And that can happen because I've seen a story on that happening before. And you find yourself trying to go towards something else when God has already showed you something, or you judging somebody based on their past, or you're listening to other people focus their opinion about that person, when in all situations you have to give people grace and you have to give people the benefit of the doubt. Get to know a person before them, who they truly are, and allow God to show you who that person is through his eyes before you jump to conclusions, because you could be blocking your blessings. You could be missed out on your blessing because of that. And I hear a lot of people saying they waiting on their blessings, but you might have already missed out on your blessings because you passed judgment on what the person that was supposed to come in your life and bless you. You passed judgment on them. Therefore, your blessing went away with that person. And people don't realize how you can look down on somebody, and that person you looking down on could be the very well person that's going to change your life. That's going to get you out of what you're in. So don't ever judge anybody based off of what they look like, based off of their past, based off of, just them in general, because you don't know a book based on the cover. You don't. When you get to know somebody and you get to know them the way that God knows them, I guarantee you're going to see a whole new side of that person. Because the way that people are on the outside does not transpire don't necessarily mean that that's how that person is on the inside. And yeah, they might look all good and stuff on the outside, but on the inside, they could be as evil as all get out. They can be nasty. They can be secretly hiding addictions. They could be doing some of everything. But you got to take the time to know who that person is. Ask God, what is it that this person is supposed to do for you or bring to your life? When that's with getting to know anybody new, like, ask God to reveal to you the person's intentions and all of the above, because you never know if you're missing out on your blessing just because you pass judgment on somebody. And I have learned that to give people the benefit of the doubt. I hear people say stuff about other people all the time, but I still sit and I want to get to know that person for me. And to me, it's just giving people grace And when we learn to give people grace, it will be a whole lot better to maneuver through the world, because everybody's heart is not in the same place. And just because you perceive something of someone one way doesn't mean that that's the same perception that the person next to you got. And it just opens up a can of worms when you go off of somebody else's judgment, because you could find yourself later on realizing, oh, they were wrong. This person ain't even like that. And now you in a place of conviction and trying to figure out how to make things right with the person that you did pass judgment on, that you shouldn't have. That person could be your walking miracle. That person could be your walking blessing. And because you listen to the person next to you bash that person and you didn't give that person a chance, now you got to try to find a way to make things right. And that's if that person is willing to allow you back in their space, to allow you back in their lives. Because everybody, once you write somebody, once with me, it used to be once I write you off, that's it. I don't want nothing else to do with you. But because I allow God to order my steps, I let him guide me and let him lead me and reveal to me who my Peters are and who my Jonas are. Because, the Peters, they got to learn a lesson in their situation, and God forgives all. But when it comes to, I'm listening to God when it comes to my Peters and my Jonas. I just don't want to have to go through the same mistakes. Listen, I don't want to have to deal with any issues of a Jonas again. Insert, y'all, I meant Judas, not Jonas. Okay? I did type it on there, but some people, sometimes when you do YouTube videos, I'll be listening and doing stuff while I'm watching the YouTube video. So y'all might have missed me type Judas instead of Jonas, but I wanted to clarify that part, so I'm sticking it in here. So if it's not fit for me, then I'll let God tell me, hey, they're not fit to be in your life, and go on with you on your next chapter. But I'm not going to allow anybody else's opinions to dim my light when it comes to seeing how God portrays somebody. I'm going to go to God and get the full thing from him versus, trying to get an opinion from somebody else about a person, because my opinion of somebody might not be the same opinion that somebody else might have, and both opinions might not even be the correct character. That there might be some things that we see that the person don't even know that they're doing it. Like, sometimes some people, it takes a person to bring something up to that person's attention, because some people don't even think don't even know that they're doing something wrong, or that what they're doing is causing people to look at them in a certain light. If you're not vocal and you can't even step to somebody as a responsible adult and make conversation about something that somebody is doing to hurt you, instead you go around and you bash that person based off of your perception, but you wasn't even woman enough or man enough to even talk to that person to let them know. Instead, you go bashing their name, or you judging them based off of something that you didn't even get clarity on with that person. How can you feel comfortable going around talking about somebody that you ain't even give a chance to right their wrongs, or you didn't even give a chance to listen to them, or even go to God about them? How can you feel like your actions is correct when you didn't even get any correction from the matter from the begin with? You know what I'm saying? It's like you listening to other people, but you ain't even give that person the opportunity. And that person could be the person that changed your life. So stop trying to diminish somebody's character based off of things that you see and hear, and listen to God about that person. Because there's something in that person that God has put in them that he wants people to see, but you're too busy looking at the things that people has brought to your attention, or the things that you feel that's wrong with that person. But you also haven't been real enough to go to that person and be like, do you realize that you do this? Or something you did just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And truly enough, if you friends with that person and you can't do that, y'all ain't friends. You ain't friends. Because that's what friends are for. You correction without anger, correction without judgment. Like, that's what friends are for. They're supposed to help build you up, not tear you down. And the way that you say things matter as well. Make sure that you are able to talk to people in a manner of respect and get understanding. Don't just say what you got to say and don't think the other person is supposed to say anything back to you. It's all about being respectful and being able to listen and understand where each person is coming from. Especially if you supposed to be friends. But I do that with anybody that I meet. I don't just judge them based off of what somebody else say. I go off of, I always like to allow God to lead me. And I ain't always been this person, because when I cut you off, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. I seen a post that said, God had me forgive people I should have beat up. And I was like saying to myself, if that ain't the truth. But it's all about your perception of God's version of that person, and not about your own. You know, we have that ability to feel, energy and all that stuff too. But sometimes some people be going through some stuff, and that can dim their energy. That can cause friction in their energy. And if you take that and run with it, it can cause a big commotion as well, because you basing something off of somebody's energy, and that person might have something, be going through something, and they ain't saying nothing to nobody about it. And you trying to say, well, this person ain't, I don't want to, because of the energy that you feel. Now, if you feel that energy every time you come around that person, then okay, I understand. But at the same time, you got to give people the benefit of the doubt and not be so quick to cut people off, and understand where they're coming from. Give them grace. Give yourself grace. If you make a mistake, own up to it. That's what I don't understand, why people can't own up to their mistakes. Own up to your mistakes. If you was wrong, apologize. And if somebody hurt you, forgive them. Trust me, you're doing a lot more for yourself by forgiving them than you are for them. That will take a major load off of your back when you start forgiving people who have wronged you. Because you're not necessarily going to get an apology from that person. And I don't look for apologies anymore, and from anybody who's done me wrong. Because I know at the end of the day that I have forgiven them. And technically, an apology, is that really gonna mend your heart? Is that really going to fix things? Just them by them saying, I'm sorry? Are you going to be willing to let them back in your space if they say you're sorry? That's things that you have to look at. But if you go on ahead and forgive them and allow God to make that move and allow God to speak to you when it's time for that person, if he see fit for that person to come back in your life, it makes a major difference when you allow God to lead you and you take what God has to give you and take it with grace and mercy, because he don't have to give you anything. He really don't. And he don't have to do nothing for you. And so that's why I always be like, I want what God wants from me, or I want who God wants from me, because at the end of the day, God knows best. And if that's if it's with the person that I ain't trying to be with, or that was just a person that was I never thought that he would put me with, I'm still gonna roll with it, because at the end of the day, what God does will blow your mind far more than what anyone else can do. And yeah, we have free will to do what we want. But at the same time, when you do what God wants, or you go the way that God wants you to go, the outcome will be more beautiful, more powerful, more better than what you can imagine. So I just say all this to say, stop allowing other people to influence your decisions on other people. Stop allowing your image of that person to get in the way of you building something with that person, because it's the image of God that's within them. That's really who that person is. And that person just gotta find out who they are, and it's up to you to ask God, what is their purpose in your life that will help you clean house when it comes to the people you're surrounded with. And it will help save a lot of friendships. It will help save a lot of just any type of relationship, whether it's business, marriages, friendships, whatever. It will help save a lot if you will just open up and be honest with yourself, and be honest with what God has showed you, and allow God to lead you. Your life will be in a better place. Your life will be in a better situation if you trust God to lead you, and trust God to open up your spiritual eyes so that you can see people for who they really are through his eyes. God bless.